Well, thank you guys for joining a new episode of Home of the Little King. My name's Ryan. This is
Tara.
And we just want to talk about our experience going to a workshop with Reid Mihalko and, of course, Monique
Darling.
Darling, thank you. Monique Darling. And we just want to talk about, some of our experiences, who the two of these people are, and, what were our reasons for going, what did we enjoy about it? So, a little bit of background. We'll start with this. So, who is Reid Mihalko and, of course, Monique Darling? Who are they? Would you be able to explain that? Because I go everywhere when I try to explain it.
I've gone to a few of Reid's workshops. I think Reid is primarily a sex educator and definitely into conscious connection, safe sex, consciously relating, connecting with others, presence, those kind of things. He's recently moved into doing more like relationship relating, other things like that, which is great. And he does a great workshop. He uses a lot of humor. He uses a lot of fact-based information. Science. Yeah. And he's just great guy to be around.
Does workshops around the world.
Yep. And Monique does work in everyday Tantra. So really bringing tantric principles to everyday living and everyday life through open connecting and relating, sex positive, those kind of things, but other kind of workshops as well. And they've worked together off and on for many years. They've known each other forever. So they put together a workshop we attended, and the workshop was going to be around this idea of using energy and energetic connection. I was interested in that because I do energy work with people on occasion. It's something that I've been doing relatively short time, just a few years, and I just do it intuitively, but I don't really know that much about it or how or why. And I thought Reid did a great job, just a wonderful job of using common language to explain to people who don't have experience with this what it is.
What does it look like?
What does it look like?
What does it feel like?
How does it feel in your body? Those kind of things, which, anytime you can break something down to the point where anyone can relate or understand, like, that's a great teacher.
Yes, I do agree, because from a person like myself, for the audience out there, what the fuck is energy play? What is this thing that we're talking about right now? Energy play, for me, it seems like it's just a matter of, finding a way to move how you feel and see if that person is feeling the same way. Basically, that's how I would see energy, is like your feelings, your emotions, the things that are moving through your body, and how are they all harmoniously connecting? And how do you establish that with somebody else, another sentient being? How do you make that work and mesh well together?
Right.
Kind of like, love and sex, and, maybe enjoyment, maybe even pain. How do you empathize in pain and feel that with somebody else? That's kind of like what I would see as energy exchanging.
Well, and when you think about your body, they're not always harmoniously connecting.
Yes.
So how does that feel, right? How does that feel in your body?
The disconnect.
The disconnect. Sometimes we're blocking certain areas of our body. There's scientific knowledge, especially, since I do so much work in trauma, that we hold our emotions in our body. So, why do I have this pain in my hip, or why do I have this pain in my shoulder, or, whatever it is that's going on, because we're blocking the flow of energy within our body.
That's definitely one of the reasons why I was interested in going to this class, actually. I'm not sure if for you, I feel like you're coming at it from a different standpoint of going to this class because you want me to enjoy it from my own experience, but I think you went for it for different reasons. For me, I went for it because I wanted to intimately connect with my body and also have the feeling in my body match with the other person, you know what I mean? Because I want to have, maybe not even sex, but I want to have an intimate engagement with somebody where they feel my energy as much as I feel it, you know what I mean? Or as close as possible, So with that, it was a very interesting experience to actually be with you and be with the other people and have this very playful way of learning energy and how it moves from person to person. So I definitely have that. But what about you? Your background is in Tantra and also, trauma therapy. So what was it like to be in that course or that workshop for you, talking about energy play? Was it exhausting or not?
No, it wasn't exhausting. I really enjoyed seeing how they broke it down so everyone could understand. I appreciated that a lot. I love the use of the tuning forks to explain vibration and how each of us has our own individual vibration and how you might work to get your vibration aligned with another's if you were interested in connecting. I really like that a lot. It was also very interesting for me. I have a tendency to doubt myself or downplay my abilities, and so they actually offered themselves as the ability to connect. Here you can practice on us, and I wasn't going to go up because I was like, well, kind of a thing, because sometimes I think that the way that I feel things. Maybe other people can't feel it that way, or maybe it's kind of my own story in my own head. And so I went up at the last minute, and all I had to do was sit down in front of the person and just go, open myself up. And he was like, "Oh yeah, you're right there." So that was like kind of affirming. Like I do have an ability to do that, and I hadn't really realized, right? Or I hadn't, sometimes I don't want to acknowledge or own. That was fun. Then the other thing that came up was this idea of being able to connect in different chakras, that it doesn't have to be heart to heart every time. It could be different kind of connections. That was new to me, so that was interesting. And there were several people in the room that I've known or seen or been at events with over the years, so I kind of know them, but I don't know them well. We've just never connected deeply or something. And when I got the opportunity to actually sit and do partner exercises with them, I was able to, without speaking, because we weren't speaking, know them more. And that was really nice.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually an interesting experience for myself as well, where you were actually on intimate basis with person to person instead of just being overwhelmed by a whole bunch of people in the same room. It was a very intimate experience with person to person. And one thing that I liked about what Reid and Darling did was we actually had this one portion of the workshop where we were actually rotating through people, and we were basically trying to essentially find each other's frequencies, resonance frequencies. Now, what does that mean? Based off what I understood, it was basically trying to feel where this person is, really trying to, you would say, drop in with them, as the term goes. Drop in meaning that you're intimately connecting with this person. You're not paying attention to anything else around your body to body aligned with this person. You're looking at all the micro expressions on their face. You're feeling all the energy come out of their body, if you will, however it comes out. But in that experience, you are also trying to establish a connection with that person that matches. So basically, it's like mirroring this person in a way, actually, based off what I felt like it was. You're mirroring this person's energy. If not, you're trying to find where they are on this energetic frequency, if you will. But through that workshop, what I enjoyed most about it is you find that people are on different fucking frequencies. Sometimes people are a little bit harder to find because they're probably low and hidden. Other people are fucking obvious because they're all the way high up. And it's very fun to feel that. If you haven't felt it, I haven't really felt it that way because I've been so used to your energy, and it goes different places for sure. But the way that some people actually show their frequency, some of them are fucking galactic, if you will. That's how it describes some people's energy. Is like, it's so far out there. The only way I can articulate how it feels is like the scene from Doctor Strange the movie, where this dude's fucking out there in the universe, and it's like, is this? And you can imagine what I'm talking about. But yeah, that energy was fucking out there, man. And there are other people where you don't feel a damn thing. You don't feel it at all because, for one thing, maybe you're just not matching. Maybe, you know, they don't really do much expression at all. They're just like, catatonic almost. So it was a very interesting experience to actually have people rotating. You get to feel for everybody's energy. And if only we were given an opportunity to really do that out in the public, but we're always in a rush somewhere. We always got to go somewhere. This is the American lifestyle. We're rushing.
Well,
we don't
plus
have
you
time.
You have to be in consent, right? So you have to have a whole conversation about, can I reach out and feel you energetically? You know,
what the fuck are you talking about, man?
Right.
Get the fuck away from me.
You know, most people are like, what? You know, kind of
It's
a
like,
thing.
the fuck?
So
Can I put my hand on your heart?
There's some of that you know, happens automatically. But then there's that's why, you know, sometimes you meet somebody stranger and you're like, ooh, wow, you know, really like them, you know, kind of a thing. But if you really want to do it, I don't, like, even when we go to other events, I don't feel comfortable if I don't say, is it okay if I engage with you energetically? Because some of it I can't help, it's just automatic. But if I really want to drop in with somebody, I like to say that because it's also it's also a boundary. It's also consent. I mean, I don't think it's cool for me to just be like all up in somebody's energetic grill, you know, without their consent. So that's why we don't do it when we're just walking around at the grocery.
Well, actually, no. I think people do it quite often against people's consent for sure.
Well, I think people do it unconsciously too because they don't know what they're working with. Right?
Kind of like, you know, people using their words, and that's kind of like I said before in another video that we're cutting out of here. I was mentioning that, you know, words are very powerful. It's almost like casting a spell, and they can actually manipulate the vibrations in the air. But when you say it to somebody, you direct it to somebody, you have a fucking effect on them in some way. Some people not so much, but others you definitely do. So if they're not consenting to that, it could feel like you're raping them with verbiage for sure. You're like just totally fucking them up. But if they accept that and they're consensual, it can get intimate very quickly and enjoyable. So it's interesting to have this workshop and talk about how the outside environment outside this workshop has affected us and molded us into this way of we are. It's very interesting to see that. It's almost like focusing just on this one little thing and then take it back out in the environment. You see, wow, this is how I'm being affected by other people. I'm being affected by the energy because they're probably walking like this or looking at me like this or saying this. Or this person's affecting my energy in a very positive way because they are just allowing me to just be okay in my body. And they're even reaching out to me and saying, I relate to you. I totally get you. And it was a very amazing experience to be able to share that with people who were relatively on the same consensual basis. Like everybody seemed like they're very consensual, which made that workshop very nice, is that everybody's like, we're going to respect you for where you are in your energy. We're not going to try to push you to one energy or the next. We're not going to criticize you for feeling this way. Feel however you want to feel. And we're going to see if we can relate to you, empathize with you, you know, whatever that is. So, are there, I already mentioned my takeaways from the whole thing. I mean, are there any major takeaways from the workshop that you went to?
My takeaways were just feeling affirmed about my own ability to connect with others. I actually think I have a very strong ability to find other people's frequency and connect with them. One of my takeaways, which is interesting, is that I think I'm so empathic, and I have been, you know, my whole life, that I don't know if I know what my own frequency is, because I'm so used to feeling everyone else's frequencies. You know, I'm also introverted, so I like to spend time alone in the garden doing art with animals, with children, you know, these kind of things. And I mean, what I don't know is if that sense of like kind of almost like a sense of like just peace or calm or emptiness, like, is that my frequency? Is that why I like to do those things? Because that lack of anything, or that is that my frequency? And that I don't really know the answer to that. So that was interesting, and it brought up an interesting thing for me to be thinking about. And then And I really appreciate it. I mean, there were at least 2 people that I can think of that I sat in front of that I think one of the things that really struck me was how people were willing to be seen.
Yes.
And willing to be vulnerable, and because it takes vulnerability, right? And it takes some courage. And I got to connect with 2 people that I don't think our relationships are going to get necessarily deeper, but I felt very honored that they would allow me to. I mean, one person, I just was holding their heart for them, just like holding their heart and just kind of rocking it a little bit because I could feel it. There's a lot of pain there, and I could feel it, and I felt honored. They trust me enough that they would allow that to happen, and my impression is that it mattered to them that I could feel that and I could see that. So that was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, these workshops, I mean, we want to do a shout out and a call out for Monique Darling, of course, Reid Mihalko. Thank you for having these courses because they're definitely spreading out, and we feel like they actually have a huge influence on the societies that are trying to bring about change and a positive change. So thank you guys, and wherever
Pioneers.
you guys are.
Yeah.
Pioneers, definitely so.
Yeah, really needed in today's cultures.
Needed, but I think it's one of those things that, it's going to take some time, but I think they are definitely planting the seeds and they're spreading, as you can see in these videos. So, Reid, if you're out there, thank you, man. Of course, Monique, if you're out there, thank you. You are amazing, amazing teachers. But of course, if you guys want to know more about them, we'll see if we can, throw them a plug or probably put their link down. But really, they're easy to search on Google. Just Google search Reid Mihalko. There will be tons of information on them, I'm sure. Or somebody like Monique Darling, you type it up, chances are she's probably going to show up because they've been doing this for years.
And Monique's tag is Everyday Tantra, and Where in the World is Monique Darling. You can find her on either one of those.
Yeah, they're very easy to find. I mean, they're very easy to find.
Both of them do workshops all around the world at different times, so it's great to look into them, see what they're offering, go check them out.
Yeah, absolutely. But, thank you guys for tuning in, and hopefully this didn't just go over your head, but overall I would recommend that you probably check them out, and if you can get a personal message from them, ask them about energy play and what that looks like, and because they can articulate it much better than we can at this point, because we're new to energy play. We're very new, while they've probably been doing it for a little bit more time or a lot more time. But in any case, guys, thank you for tuning in to Home of the Little King, and my name is Ryan, and this is
Tara.
Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Bye.